Hello and welcome to HPE Discover Barcelona 2025. My name is Marc Waters, Senior Vice President, Customers, Services, Integrators at HPE, and I'm joined here by Elke Aufzug, Project Director, Enabled Automated Driving at Bosch, and Thomas Classen, Head of Product Area Automated Driving Systems and Lead Automated Driving Alliance at Bosch. Thank you for being with me today, and we're going to talk a little bit about unlocking innovation, particularly in the area of automated driving, the role that technology and AI can play in that, and dive into some of the approaches or choices, all the way from the data center right the way to some of the AI or business outcomes that can be achieved. And I want to get into some of the choice points on speed, cost, risk, sovereignty, and with a real objective to just kind of gain some insight and some practical understanding. So let's go for it, shall we? Thomas, I'll start with you. Can you maybe kick us off by telling us a little bit more about Bosch's automated driving initiative? And what is the overall vision for that, and how important is technology to achieving that vision?
Yeah, Bosch is the world's largest automotive supplier. We're here since 125 years, keep on going. And for us, we have a vision which is called technology for safety. So we would like to really democratize automated driving, safety, driver assistance to practically all vehicles globally. Not only the high-class vehicles, everybody. That's our vision.
Fantastic. And technology plays a key role in doing that.
Technology is the enabler because automated driving is really driven by a high level of technology. It's stuff which was not possible like 10, 15 years ago. It only becomes reasonable now, and also cost-wise reasonable, with the onset of massive use of AI inside the vehicle.
Fantastic. AI enabling outcomes, as we said. And so as we kind of think about that, you've got your purpose that you're setting out to achieve, and then you've got to go execute that. So as you set the direction to the team around achieving that, how did you balance some of the trade-offs and priorities between speed, security, cost and risk?
Yeah. With this target of technology for life, obviously safety is the number one.
Yeah.
There is nothing to be compromised upon safety. Whatever we do, it has to be safe when it goes to the road. Now, given that we want to democratize what we do to all the vehicles, there's obviously a cost level which we have to achieve.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too expensive, otherwise we don't bring it into everyday's vehicle. So what we do in engineering is making sure that we achieve the right speed, time to market, development speed, given a certain amount of money which we can spend, and achieving the safety.
Okay, well, it all sounds pretty straightforward, but Elke, as the director of the project, it's down to you to actually kind of deliver that and enable the vision with all of those kind of directives to kind of bear in mind. So maybe, can you share a little bit more about the approach that you decided to take to achieve that, all the way from kind of data center decisions into kind of the platform and then the cloud choices that you faced?
Yeah, I'm happy to do so. Because as management says, everything is important at the same time, which is true, of course.
I noticed that as well, yeah.
From my perspective, from the implementation perspective, I would say yes, of course. And if you look at the timeline, when to implement what, of course there are differences. So what was important for us is to start fast. So how can I start the easiest way? I go to the cloud. I have everything there. I don't have too many hard decisions, and I can realize the first use cases easily, right?
Kind of prove it out.
You prove it out and you learn. You learn with automated driving, evidently is an innovative field. You have to learn a lot. And the more we learn of how we do it, we can go then into the cost optimization topic, for example. We can go into the later steps of validating the system. And those things, of course, then make us shift a little the workload from the cloud more to a private environment, or in our case, a co-located data center.
Yeah, and so you chose a co-located data center. What was some of the reasons behind wanting to have that kind of control of a data center, but also actually to co-locate rather than to own your own data center?
Yeah, there's one important thing that Thomas already mentioned, which is data, right? So there are massive amounts of data. We have vehicles outside running all the day, collecting data for us. And this data is in the cloud so that we can use it for each and any use case. For those that we cannot implement in the cloud, which is, for example, testing use cases where you want to use the target system that you would have in the vehicle for, you need another solution, evidently. So you need the solution to have a electronic control unit in your environment.
Yeah.
But you also need the data, which is in the cloud. So somehow you have to bring the two things together. And the co-location was our chance to reach that.
Yeah, okay, so you effectively incubated and started proving out in the cloud. You then set up your own co-location data center for some of the reasons that you've articulated, and we're running in a hybrid model. And then ultimately you've made a key decision to transition or kind of rebalance some of that work into your data center facility, into the kind of the private cloud, or what I would probably frame as a sovereign cloud or a sovereign AI platform. What was the key rationale on making that choice? And how hard was it to rebalance?
So the key reason to do it evidently is cost to one extent, but the other is also speed, because not every solution in a hyperscaler is optimized for the workload we have. So we could solve two problems at the same time and optimize the systems we use for our workloads.
Yep.
And talk about cost. And that's basically the main motivation to do that.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So, I mean, I get the cost advantage, and speed was an interesting answer. So actually you feel you can go faster with that own ownership because it's much more specifically designed for what you need and what you're trying to do with that specific workload. And did you find it easy enough to then move or kind of rebalance out into your own data center, or did that throw up challenges of its own?
Well, easy is relative, right?
Okay, fair, yes.
I would say looking at all the challenges that we have in a real hybrid environment, which is not only hybrid by the means of infrastructure between cloud and a own data center, but also with a collaboration with other big companies, with many people involved solving topics like security, like whatever. There were so many challenges on this level. Technically, in the end, after we had all the discussions on the architectural level and on the financial contractual level done, the implementation felt like easy.
Okay, it felt easy. We'll take that. That's good enough. But it was effectively a transition you were able to make, and that's kind of great to understand that.
Exactly.
Now, Thomas, I know some of the things we've talked about before are the importance to Bosch around sustainability, environmental sustainability, but also of the business model and the organization and control of data. And we've also talked a bit about sovereignty as well as one of the key factors. Can you share a bit more on how important that is to yourselves?
Yeah, for us, so what we call sovereignty nowadays, for us, we call that independence.
Independence.
Independence. And independence is part of our DNA since long term. Probably we are the only automated driving supplier worldwide which really does everything in-house or with partners, kind of in-house. So a lot of
probably why you've existed for 125 years.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So especially in these times when tides get rough, you know what the value is of being independent and not relying on whatever supplies, whatever external companies which can fail. We have partners which we trust on, but we are able to keep everything pretty much under our control, and that's part of our strengths and part of our DNA. Okay,
so then effectively some of the decisions that Elke talked about not only delivered some of those benefits of speed, of cost, but really fit with the whole approach you want to take and that independence dynamic. Okay, very good. So I'm conscious I said we were going to give some practical insight and guidance for people that are looking at similar solutions or solutions and making some of these choices and trade-offs. So based on your experiences here around sort of building out this automated driving capability, what would you say was your number one takeaway that you would share with others who may be at an earlier stage looking at this? Elke, why don't we start with you, and then Thomas, I'll come back to you.
One of my key takeaways is we are talking about AI, we are doing AI, people are talking about data, we are collecting lots of data. And the important thing that all have to learn is you need a lot of stuff to be capable and really work with the data. And this is very basic things. This is storage, this is compute, this is network, and this is in the end what will be decisive. And the important thing is to really build the right things from the very beginning to be capable and leverage the value you can have out of your data.
Oh, well, absolutely. And would you do anything different with the benefit of hindsight?
I think I would not. Looking back after this was
That's a fantastic answer. I'm delighted to hear.
maybe to add something. I'm in the business for over 20 years now, so I have some generations already seen going into series with data and with the beginning of AI, and I think I learned a lot from that. And this time I would say we made many things quite okay-ish to reach what we wanted to.
Fantastic. And what about yourself, Thomas? Any kind of guidance or insight you'd give people looking at similar programs or projects?
I mean, obviously, first of all, you need either in-house or as partners, people who are able to do that, what was done here. Yeah? Otherwise, it doesn't help. Yeah?
And I've got to say that the collaboration between the teams, and I've seen some of that firsthand as a project sponsor, has just been so good.
Yeah.
Everyone working with that common purpose, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really the basement. If you don't have that, all the other dreams will just not happen. So this is really worthwhile to invest time in having the right partners, working in such a collaboration, in such an environment with the right people. That's really key, absolutely key enabler. And then from the outlook perspective, in the end, AI is just a method, a mathematical framework to turn data into solutions. So if you have specific, domain-specific data, which you only have being already present in the market, this AI can give you a real competitive advantage over others because you can use this data, which you only have access to create solutions others cannot build. And this is something where you can really leverage new business and new solutions using AI. But of course, you need the basement to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all built on a foundation, isn't it? And yeah, it's a great way to think about AI technologies to deliver the outcomes that the business is looking for. It's an incredible project. It's such an interesting area. I mean, from an HPE perspective, it's been a pleasure to be involved. And you've got HPE technology across the portfolio, but really importantly, some phenomenal people from the HPE services organization who became part of the team and really enabling that. So it's been a delight to be involved with. We wish you every future success of it and powering the next 125 years of Bosch. Yeah. Wonderful.
And happy to see again projects which really deliver on time and on the spot.
That's a great point to close with. I mean, it was a project that delivered on time, on budget, and really innovative AI outcomes. So what more can we say? That's probably why we're making the video today. But no, thanks for being with us. Have a great rest of the time at Discover Barcelona. And we look forward to where we go next. Thank you both.
Thanks for having us.